Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of 0 to 60, and the Vargas car is back together. Everything is all back on, and we're good to actually start doing some vacuum testing now that I have a vacuum gauge. So to confirm, this is the car that basically what it was doing, it won't make proper boost under about, well, it makes like no boost under 4,500 RPM, and then from 4,500 round to red line, it'll only peak at about 17 or 18 PSI no matter what we target. Even with an MHD off-the-shelf map, which should be targeting 18 PSI, it'll only hit 16, 17. It'll touch 18 every now and again, but it won't hold 18. So something weird is going on. Yeah, it looks to me, well, I was pretty confident that one of the wastegates weren't closing. Hopefully you saw in the last video, we had the downpipes off. We've made sure that the wastegates are closing at 8 or minus 8 inch-pounds of mercury. HG. So the wastegates are definitely actuating properly. Putting the car back together, I have replaced all of the other vacuum lines apart from this one here, just because it's a pain in the ass to get to the front turbo. But when I was doing my testing, I was using that line to close the front wastegate. So we know that line is definitely working and the wastegate's closing at the right pressure with a manual gauge. We have changed boost solenoids. I've changed blow-off valves. I've done a smoke test. Been a bit testing. I'm starting to think, and a few guys mentioned it, there may be damage to one of the compressor wheels. The only weird thing we found from pulling the whole thing apart again was the turbo V-band that holds the turbine housing, the exhaust housing onto the CHRA, whatever it's called. That V-band was loose. Not like really loose, but it was loose enough to probably get about 4 or 5 turns on the nut, and it did appear to be leaking oil out of that V-band. So that's the only weird thing we found. I'm going to start it up and we'll show you what vacuum we're getting off the pump, and then we'll go for a drive and we'll make sure that it's getting the correct vacuum at the wastegates while we drive. Now I did start it up probably about an hour ago now, just to make sure that we didn't have any new errors because of everything that had been disconnected. But we'll start it up, and nice. So you can hear there, you get a little, well, we get a little bit of wastegate rattle, but then the wastegates close. Everything's doing what it should be doing. Right now I've got the vacuum gauge keyed into the canister just there, so that should be getting vacuum straight from the vacuum pump. Hopefully you guys can see that. It's coming round to minus 25. Obviously it's got to build up vacuum in the canisters. Doing a bit of reading online. I've seen people that get readings between minus 26 and minus 30. I'd say yeah, that is fine. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, it's about just over 26 at idle. I'm happy with that. If I pull that one off, yeah, you lose the vacuum straight away, and you can hear the wastegates rattling. Put it back on, builds vacuum. Obviously it's got to suck all the vacuum out of the canisters, so it'll take a little while to build up, but yeah, we're there. Round to 26 again. Alright, I'm going to relocate this line. I'm going to tee it into basically the line that goes to the wastegates. We'll go for a drive. Okay, we got the gauge set up now, just make sure we get a reading. So that is now connected to the wastegates. So this is how much vacuum the wastegates are getting. Right, let's get the car out on the street, see what it does. Okay, so we've got the gauge up there. I've just been letting the car warm up. We've got some oil temperature into it now. And yeah, coolant's at 200 Fahrenheit. Sorry about that horrible shot you just encountered. One annoying thing, something is now knocking in the right front. So have I not tightened something up, or did I damage the sway bar link pin? We'll find out shortly, but let's see what that vacuum does as we try and boost. So right now the car feels exactly as it did before, apart from the knock in the front suspension. Oh God. All right, let's see if we get boost. Sports mode. basically, but you can see what the gauge is doing there. Got no boost under 4,500 RPM. Oh, hang on. Okay, this is me not having enough hands for this. Watch MHD. No, she's laggy. Way too laggy. Yeah, so if I go, we're at 2,000 RPM, wide open throttle. The vacuum gauge fell off, but yeah, still doesn't feel right. Alright, so I went and grabbed Dave because it was just too hard to film and watch everything and drive. So he's just about to roll on. It's still very difficult to hold and film. So we got boost on the top left of MHD and ready? Yep, ready. Wastegates are closed, but no boost again. No boost until 4.5. Yep. Do it again. Okay. Nothing. The same, so we've checked everything. That sucks. Don't know, guys. Don't know. It's probably going to need turbos. So, yeah, we are back. I can't remember what I ended up filming. I found a loose bolt in the suspension. That was my bad, but fixed the knock, so that's all good. However, the long and short of it is this car still doesn't work. Now, I did end up taking a log. I'll see if I can show you guys here. I might have to overlay a screenshot, but basically, hopefully you can see there. Come on, GoPro. We've got the blue line, which is actual boost, and then the pink line, which is boost target. So at 2,500 RPM, we're targeting 14.7 PSI, but it's only given us 1.2 PSI. At 4,000, we are targeting 14.4 PSI, and we're getting 7 PSI. And then at 4,500 RPM, boost, target, and actual boost sort of catch up with each other. So that's what it feels like. It yeah, it just doesn't make power until about 4,500 RPM, and then it shoots off like a rocket. Hopefully you've been following along, but yeah, this car is quicker than a stock turbo car, even though it doesn't make any power under 4,500 RPM. But obviously something's not right. And just to try and summarize, I think I mentioned at the start of this video, we have checked everything for vacuum leaks. Vacuum lines have been replaced. We know from today, we know that the wastegates are getting vacuum, the correct vacuum, and they are closing. They are closing pretty much straight away. It looks like as you first tip the throttle in, the wastegates will open, but then within a split second, vacuum comes back down and they're going to be closed again. And watching them close on the manual hand pump in the last video, they closed very, very quickly, and I know they're sealing. Yeah, I've done a smoke test. We've replaced the blow-off valves. Well, it's had 2 different sets of blow-off valves. It's had different air filters on it. What else have we done? We had 2 different sets of catalytic converters on it in case the cats were clogged up. It's had different boost actuators, but I mean, we can see that the wastegate actuators the wastegates are getting the right amount of boost. We've done everything apart from replace the turbo. Now, a couple of guys mentioned that it could possibly be caused by a damaged compressor wheel. We can see the turbine wheels. We know they're fine. We know that the turbos spin absolutely fine. Doesn't feel like they've got a lot of shaft play. In fact, they feel really good. The turbos feel better than, I'm going to say it, Chinese new turbos. But they just don't make any boost. It's weird.
All that's left is to change the turbos.
Yeah. HTE did mention that we could add more wastegate duty cycle, but we know from looking at that vacuum gauge today, the wastegates are closing straight away. So it's not a wastegate duty cycle thing. It should be making boost, and it just doesn't make boost. A couple of guys mentioned it may be issues with Vanos. I personally don't know. I don't know how much Vanos could affect the turbo's ability to make boost, because they should make boost. Like, these should really be at full boost by 3,500 RPM, but there's no boost. Whereas like 2 PSI at 3,500 or 1 PSI at 3,500. So at 3,500, the engine is still flowing gas, and it should still spool the turbos, regardless of the cam position. In regards to boost leaks, like, I thought it might be a boost leak, but nothing comes up with the smoke test. Everything is sealed. Obviously, I haven't done a pressurized boost leak test, but the fact that it sort of at 4,500, you just go bam and you get boost. It's weird. It's definitely, I think it's turbos. Do we call it? Or should we let them have the final? I'm going to say my final verdict on this thing is those Vargas turbos need to be replaced. We don't know how old they are. This is not, I'm not going to dig at Vargas at all. We don't know if something has been dropped down into those turbos at some point before the car got to us. Yeah, we could open them up and there might be a 10mm nut stuck in one of the compressor wheels. You just don't know. But yeah, I think it's turbo. I'm going to call turbos. You're unsure?
It's just, what if we change them and it just does the same thing?
It's getting a single. Yeah, look, that'd be really annoying because it's a good 2 days work to swap the turbos on them. I think I'm going to leave this one off here. We're supposed to be going roll racing tomorrow, but I don't think that's going to happen. We'll see how we go. And Euroday on Sunday. That is going to happen.
That has to happen, yes.
We will be at Euroday on Sunday, probably just in my car, which I've done nothing to, but we'll just go and say hello to everyone, really, and try and enjoy the day, not necessarily be fast. Not that I think you should try and go fast at Euroday, because it's terrible when there's 100 cars on track trying to drive quickly. But we'll go there anyway. I have a bit of fun, I think.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right, we'll end it off there, guys. Well, I think that's the story with the Vargas car. It needs turbos. We'll catch you on the next one.
If you do go turbos, what turbos, like if we do change turbos, what do you reckon go? There's almost unlimited options now.
Yeah, like...
Yours are proven to be pretty freaking good.
I don't mind my China swirly boys at all, but after driving O'Reilly, I want more.
What are you doing, 19Ts?
Yeah, I don't think 19Ts make much difference. There's a lot of debate actually about 17T versus 19T. I'd say most people wouldn't be able to tell the difference. If they're in the driver's seat of a maxed out 17T car versus a maxed out 19T car, they wouldn't be able to pick it.
I guess the difference, obviously there's a lot more than just the turbos between yours and Tim's car, but your cars were pretty much splitting hairs really, weren't they? Yeah,
and well, that's when I raced Tim. Tim was on another couple of PSI to me, and our car, he'd get like half to a car length on me. So he's running more boost, more timing, and 19Ts, so there's like nothing in it. But then you've got other options, like those new DAWs.
Oh, yeah, with the new...
Both, yeah. Well, they've got the new exhaust housings, and then you've got the new stuff from RB and from VAR. It looks sick. It's big money.
If you want more than 19Ts, there's the new Vargas, those big ones.
I don't know.
Keep it a Vargas car.
Should we keep it a Vargas car? We'll see. We'll see. All right, guys. I'm going to end it off there. It's been a long day putting this thing back together, and then realizing that spent about 7 to 8 hours working on it for no reason. How fun is it? Anyway, sorry to natter on. I really video next. We'll catch you on the next one.